While officially, the Kolkata Police has said only 3 journalists were injured in the clashes that took place yesterday with the police during the left protest in Kolkata, but the number is higher. NDTV's 2 camera persons who were on the spot were caned and their cameras damaged. They were not alone. At least a dozen other media persons were attacked by the police even as the protests were winding down. Well, let's go across to NDTV's Monideepa now for more. And Moni, a senior officer spoke to you on the phone and apologized for this. But the media in Kolkata is going to protest about this manhandling of journalists and camera people.
That's right. You know, the senior police officer, Joint Commissioner Supratim Sarkar, he held a press conference last evening and he stated that only 3 journalists had been injured in the clashes with the police. And that's when other journalists objected and they even referred to the fact that I had been pushed around. And Mr. Supratim Sarkar called to apologize. But I sort of brought to his attention that I didn't suffer anything except a bit of push around. It was many other journalists, camera persons, photographers who I saw with, blood coming down their faces. Our own camera persons, Nirmal Sarkar and Shankar Ghosh Dastidar, have been beaten black and blue. I mean, the pictures are appalling, and their injuries are even worse today, turning purple. And then, of course, many other journalists, from local channels, from photographers in local newspapers, and in the national channels, they were all beaten up. Many were admitted to hospital. I know at least 3 or 4 cases who went to hospital as well. They had to because they were in such pain and distress. Today, a whole lot of journalist organizations are supposed to bring out a protest march at about 4 o'clock. That's what we are being told. This is kind of unprecedented, the kind of violence against the media that was seen. There were clashes with protesters and of course policemen were injured. But surely, policing is not about beating up journalists who are just doing their job. For instance, camera person Nirmal and Shankar, they were far away from where a clash was taking place, and suddenly policemen chased them down and attacked them with sticks. I mean, that is something inexplicable. There was also the use of some kind of spray which was noxious and toxic. We are not sure what that was, and that is something that we need to find out more about. Unprecedented in the last few years. In the past, in the left regime too, there were issues, there were attacks on journalists by the police. Police did beat up journalists occasionally, but not in this organized scale. We've been speaking to senior retired police officials and they are saying that what the police did yesterday was not signs of a disciplined force. Mr. Supratim Sarkar said, in fact, the Chief Minister's orders, or at least higher authorities' orders, were not to engage with the journalists. But he said something clearly went wrong and the matter is being investigated.